The chandler's mouse. Sadri eared him. Sabi Effendi closed the drawer with a shiver. Today's earnings amounted to a solid 10 kuras. "See this," he remarked, "without the lonely widows doing laundry, not a single metallic coin would find its way into the drawer for a whole century." He stashed away the 10 kuras in his pocket once again. "Sufficient for the cold, sufficient for the warmth. It'll keep the family fed and clothed. Goodness gracious," he mumbled to himself as he lowered the shop shutters. With the evening darkness settling in, he began his journey homeward. Sabi Effendi's father was a chandler. His grandfather was also a chandler. In short, Sabi Effendi was the son of a chandler. Don't mistake him for a melancholic man just because he earned 10 kuras today. Although, as of today, Sabi Effendi cannot be considered prosperous. His father was wealthier than Sabi Effendi. His grandfather was the Candle King of Istanbul. However, the grandson of this Candle King was left penniless. In the grand times when his grandfather was the Illumination King of Istanbul, the world's petroleum kings were still in their infancy. The gas king was a neighborhood ruffian without underwear in the streets at that time. The electricity kings weren't even conceived in their mother's wombs. Sabi Effendi's grandfather was a dignified figure in the era of the six-armed candelabra, an illustrious man whose name resonated like the dollar everywhere, with a car and all. When the first lamp shop opened in Istanbul, it struck a chord in his grandfather's heart on the first day of shopping. Sabi Effendi's father couldn't escape the fate of downsizing that grand, magnificent candle factory. Sabi Effendi faced an onslaught from petroleum on one side, gas on another, and electricity on the third. He melted away like the candles he sold in front of these three ruthless young rivals. As customers dwindled, he dwindled. The tombs were closed, and there was no one lighting candles at night. Only a few widows sitting in the opposite end bought a few candles. After washing their laundry, these women would apply wax to the iron while ironing so that it wouldn't rust due to dampness. This is Sabi Effendi's current situation. Sabi Effendi left his shop and the mice's festivity began inside. They roamed up and down, causing a ruckus, creating a tumultuous scene. From above, rhythmic noises like the clattering of a mechanism echoed as they moved. A large mouse confidently settled where Sabi Effendi had been sitting. In a thick mosque candle, two mice lay side by side, their heads poking out of a hole, revealing white, sharp teeth. The mice, finding the shop empty, grinned at each other. From the left corner, a colossal mouse with a big tail emerged, slowly advancing. As it approached, it deemed the grand mosque candle worthy and started nibbling at its base. With each bite, the colossal candle toppled, tooth by tooth, creating a massive commotion. While the young mice inside the candle were tickling each other, they tumbled as if struck by an earthquake. Hearing the noise, the mice's Sherlock Holmes, a large, mustached, formidable cat, opened its imposing claws and attacked. However, the Arsene Lupins among the mice escaped, and Sabi Effendi's formidable commissioner returned empty-handed. The mice, scattered like newborn quails due to the noise, took refuge in corners, catching their breath. The young and daring mouse surpassed its neighbor's wall, passed through the neighbor's house, roamed through yet another home, and engaged in a solitary struggle. Finally, it entered an electrical transformer room with green-capped concrete walls and wings resembling troughs of old windmills. In this new place, the young mouse saw large coils stacked on top of each other. It extended its thin and pointed teeth, delicately sniffing around with its tiny nose. Unlike the candle shop, this new place didn't have the same scent. The young mouse bit. The taste here was not the familiar waxiness. Biting again, it savored the delightful and soft essence of silk. Tooth by tooth, it launched another attack, discovering a new taste. It bit into the rubber, and the young mouse continued to feast. Feasting on the silk from the electric transmission wires in the rubber, it consumed until its hunger was satisfied. When it bit into the copper wire, which lent a bitter taste, the young mouse promptly shifted its position, nibbling on another section of the wire. The mouse's relentless gnawing reached a point where it imbibed the radiance of 10,000 houses and 20 streets, akin to sipping water. Suddenly, near the time of the evening prayer, the light bulbs became lifeless one by one, and from Bayazit to Fatih, the surroundings turned pitch black. The lights of the cars glowed like a struck match in the darkness. Imagine a Ramadan night between Bayazit and Fatih remaining in pitch darkness. This was a terrifying sight. Everyone rushed out into the streets. exclaiming, "Candle, candle." In an instant, a candle became as precious as a cup of water in a vast desert. People were murmuring in the coffee shops. "What's happening? Candle, candle." Minutes passed, and there was still no sign of light. The coffee seller, shopkeeper, and homeowners, all searching for candles, gathered in front of Sabi Effendi's shop. Sabi Effendi was invited from his home. The old chandler opened the shop, and the candles that hadn't sold in the past 10 years were sold in half an hour. Sabi Effendi was extremely pleased with the unexpected outcome. After giving away the last remaining candle to a customer, he muttered, "Allah makes a strange bird's nest," and in the evening, as he closed the shop, he remembered to set the traps he had forgotten and lowered the shutters again. The next morning when he came to the shop, Sabi Effendi found a young mouse trapped with silk and rubber crumbs in its mouth. He rejoiced, thinking he had rid himself of an enemy. Moral of the story: in this world, I know many people who are like Chandler's mouse.